Well, a little more FAFO for the US after their tariff threats to Canada. Not only did we respond with tariffs, hold my beer, we took your stuff off our shelves, boycotted as many products as we could, tore up hundreds of millions of dollars worth of contracts, and the only thing we ended up agreeing to in the end after you folded in 3 days was the same thing we agreed to in 2024 when Biden was in office. But what you did is you pissed us off, and you told us, we can't trust you as allies and we can't trust you as trade partners. So we jumped on the phone, we called up China and we said, hey, how do you feel about a free trade agreement? And China responded with, we feel peachy keen. So now we're taking hundreds of billions of dollars out of the U.S. economy and reducing our dependency on the U.S. to send it all to China. So how do you guys feel about that? FAFO, right?
I'm a proud Canadian citizen. I am. I love this country. I was able to achieve a lot here through hard work. Nothing was given to me, nothing was handed to me. Nor was I expecting anything to be handed to me. I worked hard. And I'm entitled to whatever benefits that I'm reaping right now. It's an entitlement, but it's an entitlement based upon my hard work, based upon contributing. When you contribute, you're able to reap the harvest, or when you sow, you reap the harvest from what you sow. If you don't sow, don't expect a harvest. That's just how things go. I'm a proud Canadian. Even if I say I can't live in this country anymore, that does not mean that I hate my country. No. I'm proud of this country. I'm proud of the values of this country. I'm proud of everything that I've learned from this country. You see, what am I getting at? A president was elected in America. It was a couple of months ago. He took office last month, 3 weeks now. And what this man has done has awakened Canadians. And Canadians are realizing how foolish we were. That we have allowed ourselves to be abused, that we have allowed ourselves to be taken advantage of. And this is the thing, you can be in a relationship with someone that abuses you, yes, that use their dominance because they think that you're weak. And sometimes you don't realize that you're being abused, but one day you realize, hey, damn, this love ain't loving anymore. And you wake up and you said, it's time for me to walk away from this relationship. You see, Donald Trump thought that he can use the American power, or he can use his rhetoric, that he can dehumanize, and that he can insult our sovereignty. But he didn't realize that he was awakening a sleeping giant. He didn't realize that the clout that America once has, the dominance that America once has faded. So he came out as the bully. But what he did is to open the eyes of Canadians, to open the eyes of the world, that you can realize that America has never been a trusted partner, and America can no longer be trusted. So Canadians now are rallying together. You do not insult our sovereignty. You do not insult our Prime Minister. Our Prime Minister is not a governor. He is the leader of a sovereign nation. I have never seen, I've never felt Canada, because you see, we're so intertwined. we share almost the same values with America. Our government is stable. So we always have that sense of we belong, we are together. And we have followed you blindly into so many conflicts that you have created. You don't offer us security because we don't go around the world destabilizing government. We don't go around the world having enemies. Who is Canada's enemy? We don't have any. So you don't protect us from anything. As a matter of fact, when you were attacked on 9/11, we came to your defense. We came to your aid. We have come to your aid so many times. But when you have a president of the United States who lies blatantly, lies, how is that in America's interests? How is that in the world's interest? Hear what Donald Trump says. American banks are not allowed to do business in Canada.
U.S. President Donald Trump made some comments in the Oval Office about U.S. bank operations in Canada. He says they're not allowed to do so. We wanted to fact check that claim, but first, here's what he said again.
We're not treated well by Canada, and we have to be treated well. Banks are not, as an example, allowed. Did you know that? That banks, American banks, are not allowed to do business in Canada. Can you believe that? And that's one of many things and we talked about, and I think we'll win most of the subjects. But for some reason, a lot of things have been very unfair with Canada.
U.S. banks do, in fact, have a presence in Canada. J.P. Morgan and Chase employs about 600 people in several Canadian cities, and Citi Bank has been around since 2019. Now, the Canadian Bankers Association says U.S. banks make up about half of all the foreign banking assets in Canada, with 16 subsidiaries and branches worth about $113 billion. They also say that these banks specialize in a range of financial services, including corporate and commercial lending, treasury services, credit card products, investment banking, and mortgage financing. So it is not, in fact, true that there is no presence of U.S. banks in Canada.
Today, Justin Trudeau spoke at a business conference, and this business conference particularly was about the Canadian economy and the U.S. and Canada trade issues, specifically the tariffs with Donald J. Trump. Now, it was also confirmed that Donald J. Trump also wants to annex Canada. It's not a joke, that he's floated the idea numerous of times. Justin Trudeau confirmed it because parts of these conversations was supposed to be held behind closed doors, but the mic that Justin Trudeau was speaking in or was around him was still on, and the media overheard parts of the conversation, in which entails that Trump has floated the idea of taking over Canada and making it the 51st state because he wants to access the country's critical minerals. Mr. Trump has it in mind that the easiest way to do it is absorbing our country, and it is a real thing, the Prime Minister said. So he said this right before the mic cut out, but it pretty much confirms that there's more to it than just our border or the issues with fentanyl or the issues with our trade deficit. He wants to absorb our country. He needs our minerals. That's why if you listen to the deals that he's making with Ukraine, he talks about rare earth metals. Well, he wants these metals that Canada has because Canada has a ton of it, and it could significantly benefit their country and especially their future tech and all the techs that they're planning on coming up with, especially with the EV. That's why it's such a crucial aspect. And let's not get started with our water, right? So with all this going on, it blows my mind that Parliament is still closed.
See, guys, so many of American banks are operating in Canada. Do we have a strong banking system? Yes, we do. And this is what protected us when the housing market crashed in America, because American banks was giving loan to people who was not qualified. Based on economics, You would give someone a loan for a house that is a $700,000 loan, and they're only making $15 per hour. That's why our housing market didn't crash. The type of loans that banks give out in America, when in 2008, when your financial system crashed and government had to step in to bail out so many banks, we have stronger regulations here. So that's why your banks cannot come here and do what they want to do, because we have strong regulations to protect our interests. Just as you going around and you're talking about you have to protect America's interests, we also have to protect our interests.
Imagine only paying $25,000 for a car with butterfly doors. There are some things that China just does better than the United States, and we just got to admit it. I'm sure a lot of you guys haven't heard of the company called BYD. BYD means Build Your Dreams, and it is a Chinese EV company that was manufacturing and making batteries since 1995. In the last quarter of 2023, it had more sales than Tesla. Even one of Ford's old chief executives said that the reliability and the quality of Chinese vehicles have increased significantly within the last 10 to 12 years. Chinese vehicles are taking over the European scene, especially because they have the supply chain issues down. They can make and manufacture a whole bunch of EV vehicles extremely quick, and they also have the price down as well, so it's an affordable electric vehicle. BYD is at the forefront of this, Build Your Dreams, and they are creating vehicles that are impeccable, extremely reliable, and the build quality is top notch. And that's coming from one of Ford's chief executive.
See, guys, these are things that we need to know, and these are things that we need to share. But a lot of people don't read, a lot of people don't do research, a lot of people believe what is being told to them. So we grab the daughter of the owner of Huawei because of you. You cause diplomatic havoc, because that's what you do. You create enmity, you create havoc all over the world. But because we share such good relationship, we endure. So what we buy from you, we you know, cars, should I say, cars. $52 billion worth of vehicle we import from America to Canada every year. We can get cars anywhere. Again, we followed you to protect Tesla. And this is why I said politicians in Canada are weak, but I think now we are waking up. And I don't know if you guys know about BYD technologies. Even the CEO of Ford Motor Company, he was driving a BYD electric car, and he said it is the best electric car. But what do? And you go into Europe, guys, you see Chinese electric car all over Europe. But when it comes to North America, America has levied 100% tariff on BYD motors and Chinese electric cars, which are the best in the world. So instead of giving us the opportunity to own something that is good, you tax and you tariff. So we don't have to protect Tesla and to protect the American brand. And we Canadians followed you. What Canada has to do is to levy 100% tariff on Tesla or any electric cars coming from from America, and remove the tariff from electric cars coming from China. We are a sovereign nation. We don't need your permission to do that. But we do, because we always felt that we are intertwined. We always felt that we are together. But you have abused us. You've taken advantage of us. You know, because of North American free trade, we sell stuff to you that you need. Stuff, and that's the difference, eh? What we buy from you, we can get it anywhere else in the world. But what you buy from us, you can only get it from here. There might be other couple nations that you could probably get it from, but they don't have stable government. You understand? Because of North American free trade, the stuff that we sell to you, you get it for below market value. But if we took our commodities, we took whatever we sell to you to the open market, we'll get more money. We'll get better value for the stuff that we have. And you may understand, you may talk, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, right? How is that anything to do with Africa? Because I'm showing guys that this part of the world is crumbling. This part of the world is no longer effective. This part of the world is no longer economically viable for us. And that's why we have to have a level of appreciation for what we have in Africa. What we buy from you, we can get it anywhere else in the world. So you can levy 25% tariff against us. Well, we don't have to buy anything from you. We buy oats from you, we can get it anywhere. We buy wheat, we import like crude oil, electronics. And what you did, we talk about electronics here. I don't know if you guys remember a couple of years ago, the daughter of the owner of Huawei was going to Mexico. She came through Canada, yes? The American government lobbied the Canadian government to arrest her. She was arrested and she was imprisoned, although like house arrest, in Canada for many years. The Chinese government grabbed a couple of our citizens in retaliation on bogus charges, locked them up in jail. We did that because you asked us to, which we should not have done. But because we followed you when you say that Huawei, the Chinese government put spyware in electronics from China, it is a lie. Because if you look at the history and you look at what happened with the chips and you look at what happened with the history of America going into China and China opening up to American market, you'll understand the lies that are being told about China. Because China beat you at your own game, as I keep saying. China outsmart you. China is more advanced than you when it comes to technology today. You cannot compete with China. That's why I've been looking for the clip. I couldn't find it. But there's a South African that says that we teach our kids in school about European history. The curriculum of Africa is not benefiting our kids. And he's right, he's true. Listen to what David Attenborough said. David Attenborough said something, yeah? If children don't grow up knowing about nature and appreciate it, they will not understand it. And if they don't understand it, they won't protect it. And if they don't protect it, who will? So if the children of Africa do not understand the value of our natural resources, our cobalt, our iron ore, our potash, our diamond, our gold, and now even our commodities. Just name it, guys. Africa has it. Our wood, our timber, our lumber. We talk about teak wood. I talked about it before. It's a valuable timber that you can only get in Africa, in Tanzania and other African countries. We supply China, we supply India, we supply the world with this valuable timber. So when you teach our children in school the value of what the natural resource of Africa, they would know about it, they will appreciate it, they'll understand it. But if you don't understand something that you have, it is of no use to you, because you do not know the value of it. But when you know the value of it, you're able to protect it. You understand? Because now you understand, but they have done a wonderful job messing up with our minds because they want to control, and they know that if they only allow us to understand how valuable the continent of Africa is, it is not in their national security interests economically. So they have done an amazing job on us that turned us away from Africa. So we have to teach our children from a young age, because if we don't, guys, we will continue to produce generation after generation after generation of children that are exploited. So we must teach our children, as David Attenborough says, if children do not grow up knowing about nature, so if our children do not grow up knowing about the value of the natural resources of Africa, Africa will continue to be exploited. So this is how we connect what's happening in North America now, and understanding that we have to get on the path, we have to get on board to shift to Africa. That we can contribute the knowledge that we have here, we can contribute, we can take to Africa. Guys, we have to do it. It is our continent, it is our ancestral home. Africa needs us, the knowledge that we have acquired, and we need Africa. We have been gone for too long. We have been stolen and we have been taken away for too long. We need to reconnect. We need to help. And sometimes we have to go back to go forward. Sometimes we have to break down. And if you understand Hinduism, and if you understand Lord Shiva, sometimes you have to destroy to build. So taking a step back does not necessarily mean that you are taking a step back. It means you're taking a step back so that you're able to move forward, more prosperous, stronger, better. This is the African Jumpy. Thank you for watching this video, guys. If it's the first time here, I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for being on this platform. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. 70% I know who watch my videos do not subscribe. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It don't cost anything. Just hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment. Continue sharing with me. Peace and love.